If you're trying to stand out more from your competitors and take up a lot more space on the page, then using site link extensions are one of the most effective ways of doing so. And in today's video, we're going to show you how to set them up correctly and what not to do as well, as we see some mistakes being made more recently when it comes to site links as well. And for those of you that don't know what site links are, just to give you a really basic definition, site links take people to specific parts of your site, and that's really the most important part to take note of. And we'll show you exactly what they look like in just a moment. But the reason why they're so effective is because they're one of the main types of assets that you can use, or extensions for your campaign, as they used to be called. And extensions or assets basically just make your ad bigger. And the bigger your ad is, the more likely it is to be clicked on, because the more space that your ad takes up on the page, the more attention it's likely to get. So we want to make our ad as big as possible, because the higher we can get our click-through rate to be, the more people will obviously click on our ad, which is, going to increase the likelihood of us getting more conversions. And having a higher click-through rate on our ads as well is also going to boost our quality score, and boosting our quality score is just going to reduce our cost per click as well. So whatever we can do to increase the likelihood of getting the click on our ads, Google is going to be more incentivized to show our ads over competitors as well. And that's why adding in site link assets are so effective. And now to show you actually how site links work and how to add them to your own campaign, we're just going to go to assets and then assets again. And once you're inside assets, then you can see all the types of assets or extensions, as they used to be called, that you can add. And you can go to site links then. And we're just going to show you some examples of site links we're using for this campaign, which we'll go on to more detail in a second. But firstly, we just wanted to touch on the different types of site link assets, because you have automatic ones and you have manual ones. And if you're making your own Google Ads account or campaign, and you're putting in the effort to make all of your own ads yourself, I'd recommend going the manual route and not letting Google Ads automatically create assets for you. The reason being is that automatic assets aren't as likely to be as compelling as ones that make yourself. And as you can see here, for example, we have click-through rates of nearly 20% on these site link assets. So having them in place, greatly increases the likelihood of your ad getting the click. And just to show you how to make sure that, Google doesn't automatically create site links for you, you can go to the three dots here that says more and account level automated assets. And then you'd have to press the three dots and more again, and then advanced settings. And what you want to do then is just make sure that these account level automated assets are selected to off, because they will be selected to on by default. And it was just worth mentioning as well, because it's quite conveniently hidden that, if Google wants to make assets on your behalf, that you have to go into this page to, manually turn off this setting yourself. And one of the main points I want to make about site links as well, and a common mistake I often see, advertisers make on Google, is that they make a site link for, every page of their site, even though it's not necessarily a page where, is set up for conversions. And what I mean by that is you don't really want to send people to your about page, for example, if it's not easy to convert into a lead from that page. Whereas instead, if you have separate landing pages for each of the services that you offer, then adding site link extensions are a lot more effective in this case. Because as you can see here, for example, in a campaign that we're offering different landscaping services, if somebody's looking for general landscaping, they can click on the landscaping services. That's going to bring them to a dedicated landing page for that. And also, for example, if they're looking for landscaping services, they type landscaping services into Google, but they're actually looking for a specific, type of landscaping, for example, fencing, then they could see the site link for fencing and click onto that landing page, and they're more likely to convert on a landing page that matches exactly what they search for. But you want to make sure that any site links that you have in place are optimized for conversions. So you don't want to send any traffic to specific parts of your website, for example, that aren't optimized for conversions. And for each of these landing pages are more or less the same, but have, relevant headlines and photos, for example, for each of these separate services. But the main thing about each of these site links that you're running is that the traffic is sent to a dedicated landing page for that service that is optimized for conversions as well. And if you'd like a more detailed insight on how to create a high converting landing page, I have a separate video made on that specific topic if you'd like to check it out, which I'll leave the link for right above. But I just thought that was also a point worth mentioning, that you want to direct the traffic to a relevant landing page for every site link that you're adding. And to add site links to your own campaign, you can just press the blue plus icon here. And we generally like to add site links at the campaign level, as long as the different ad groups in your campaign are offering similar services. And as a service-based business, if you want to make a site link for each of the services that you offer, then the site link text then would be the name of that specific service. So you could say patio installation, for example, if you're installing patios. And for the next one, then you could call it, artificial grass, for example, if you're a landscaping company and you're offering these services. Now, let's say you have 4 or 5 of these different site links that you have to add manually, but obviously want to save time on doing so. What I'd like to do is open the campaign in a separate tab where you can gather all your final URLs for each of these ad groups, which I'll just show you how to do now. So when it comes to adding the site links then inside your campaign, what we like to do is for whatever site links that you want to add, you can just gather all of those final URLs in advance. So you can go select the ad group and then, go to the ads of that ad group and get the landing page URL that you want to use. And you can just start opening all of those separate landing page URLs in a separate tab. So that way, then once you're actually adding the site link in the assets part, you can simply just copy the landing page URL and paste it in to the asset. So that way you can simply add all your site links together at once and it just saves a lot of time overall. So you can do the same with one of your other landing pages. And just to show you, exactly how we do this ourselves, just to save you a lot of time when doing this. And what we like to do as well for ideas for the actual descriptions of our site links, to save us time on that as well, we found using tools like ChatGPT to save us a lot of time and give us decent descriptions that we can use. So you could just say, we are a landscaping company wanting to make site links to use for a Google Ads campaign. Please give 2 descriptions for each of the following services. And then you could just say whichever services you'd like to list, for example, patio installation, artificial grass, and then just see what answers ChatGPT will give. But I forgot to mention as well that each of the site link descriptions have to be under 35 characters, but you can just refine as you go. And here are examples of site link descriptions that you could use. And you can always refine further and ask ChatGPT to improve the suggestions that they give or give you more alternatives, and then just pick the best 2 for each service. And then it's as simple as adding those in as the 2 descriptions along with the final URL for the relevant landing page for that specific service. And what you want to do then is when you add in your site links is wait to see, what the data tells you based on how these site links are performing. And the main metrics I would look at to determine if a site link is performing well is your actual click-through rate, which is the percentage of the time your ad got the click when this site link was shown. So it's not necessarily, for example, patio services here, that the person clicked on the patio services site link. It's just 18% of the time the ad itself was clicked on, not necessarily that's final URL when that site link was shown. So you might have up to 4 of your site links shown at the same time on desktop, and only one of those site links are getting the click. But the CTR that you're given is the CTR for when the site link was shown, but not necessarily clicked on that specific site link. And also conversion rate as well, and cost per conversion, which are arguably always going to be the most important metrics to look at. So you obviously want to make sure as well that you have decent conversion rates with anything inside Google Ads, including your assets. And you can see here, for example, that we have roughly on average about 20% conversion rate for each of these site links so far. So I would say that these site links are performing well and there's not necessarily any adjustments that we need to make. But it would be worth looking at to see what can be improved if, for example, you're getting a lot of clicks from your site links, but a very low conversion rate to show for it. And that would be an indication that, if you had a really good click-through rate, for example, the site link itself might be fine. But if you had a really low conversion rate, then it's most likely just going to be a landing page issue. And as mentioned previously as well, we have a link to a separate landing page video if you'd like to check that out, just so you know exactly what type of page you want to direct your site links to. Now, I hope this video helped and gave you clarity on how to use site links effectively inside Google Ads. And if you do have any questions at all about anything we mentioned inside this video or anything else related to Google Ads in general, feel free to leave a comment down below. And if you are a service-based business looking to refine your Google Ads further, feel free to have a look at the link in the description. And if you like this Google Ads related content, feel free to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, as we'll be posting all things related to Google Ads here daily. And hopefully we'll see you in the next video.